तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्।
जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय, जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, जय गणराय श्री गणराय मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, सिंदूर वदना पंकज चरणा मंगलमूर्ति मोरया। सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, सिद्धि विनायक मंगलदाता, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगलदायक मंगलमूर्ति मोरया, अष्ट विनायक मंगल जय गणराया श्री गणराया
दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ प्रेम स्वरूपा शांति प्रदाता प्रेम स्वरूपा शांति प्रदाता दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ जय जय गुरुदेवा सच्चिदानंद जय जय गुरुदेवा सच्चिदानंद शशिवदना अलंकृत केशा शशिवदना अलंकृत केशा सुंदर साई आनंददाई सुंदर साई आनंददाई दया सागर करुणा करा साई गुरुदेवा दया सागर करुणा करा साई गुरुदेवा दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ प्रेम स्वरूपा शांति प्रदाता दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ जय जय गुरुदेवा सच्चिदानंद शशिवदना अलंकृत केशा सुंदर साई आनंददाई दया सागर करुणा करा साई गुरुदेवा दया सागर करुणा करा साई गुरुदेवा दीनानाथ साई गुरुनाथ
सांब विनोदिनी शिव साई शंकरी सांब विनोदिनी शिव साई शंकरी मंगल गौरी माता महेश्वरी अखिलांडेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी अखिलांडेश्वरी राजराजेश्वरी जया जानवी परम कृपाकरी जया जानवी परम कृपाकरी हरिनोदिनी शिवसायि शङ्करी
पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला जय पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला जय पाण्डुरङ्ग विठला जग में सर्वं विष्णुमयम् जग में सर्वं विष्णुमयम् सद्गुरु श्री सत्य साई मयम् सद्गुरु श्री सत्य साई मयम् जग में सर्वं विष्णुमयम् सद्गुरु श्री सत्य साई मयम् सद्गुरु श्री सत्य साई मयम्
So we have come to this conclusion that we need jnana or knowledge of God. How then do we get knowledge of God? Whom should we ask? Who is God? What does He do? Who will answer these questions for us? If we ask worldly people, they don't know for themselves. How will they tell us? What about the Mahatmas, the saints? The saints know God. From the saints, we should be able to find out about God. But the problem here is how to find a saint. Supposing 25 Swamijis come from India to DFW area every year. How to find out which of them is a God-realized saint? And these saints will not put any board. Like in India, if you wish to find a doctor, you just go around MG Road seeing the board. Every town has an MG Road, right? So you check the market and see, okay, Dr. Mukherjee, MBBS, MD, FRCS, London heart specialist. Looks good. Let me go and show him. So a saint will not put up a board. Bhagavad Prapt, God realized, Ishwar Darshan Prapt, Golok returned. Somebody may be a saint, but we will never know. So initially, knowledge of God will not be from the saints, because you can't find a saint, you can't recognize a saint. Then what to do? Why not ask God Himself? If you want knowledge of somebody, instead of going to a third party, you go to that person. Sir, you please tell me about yourself. So in the same way, if you want knowledge of God, rather than ask anybody else, you ask God Himself. But how will God answer? God has answered. Where? In His Vedas. These Vedas are not a human creation. They are directly the word of God. Nishvasitamasya Veda. Whenever God creates the world, He manifests the Vedas. Just like you purchase a machine and you get the manual along with it. So the Vedas are the manual. God has manifested His knowledge there. And when He dissolves the world, He assimilates the Vedas back into Himself. Historians say the Rig Veda is one of the oldest books in the world. But in my opinion, this word oldest is a misnomer. Don't say oldest. The Rig Veda is eternal. It has always existed. Just like God is eternal, His knowledge is also eternal. It doesn't have to be newly created in Stanford and MIT. Knowledge of God is His Shakti, His inner energy. Ever since a fire has existed, its heat and light have existed. Ever since God has existed, His bliss has existed, His knowledge has existed. So God's knowledge is eternal. When He created our world, He first manifested the Vedas in the heart of the firstborn Brahma. Brahma passed the Vedic knowledge to his disciple. He passed it on to his disciple. He passed it on to his disciple. In this way, the Vedic knowledge came through the parampara, hearing it through the ear. That is why another name for the Vedas is Shruti. Shruti means that knowledge which is received through the ear. However, 5,000 years ago, when the Lord Himself took avatar as Ved Vyas, He looked into the coming age of Kali and He thought the people of Kali Yuga, which means us folks, we will not be Shrutidhari. We will not have the capacity to hear and remember. In fact, we will forget in 3 hours flat. Do this. All right, Swamiji. After 3 hours. Did you do it? I forgot, Swamiji. What a fantastic memory you have. You forget in 3 hours. So Ved Vyas could see all this. He decided now a book will be needed. He put that knowledge in writing. And he divided the one body of knowledge into 4 parts: Rig Ved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved. So he is called Ved Vyas, the divider of the Vedas, but nobody calls him Ved Rachayita or Ved Praneta, the writer. He is the divider. The writer is God himself. So the Vedas are Sanatan, eternal, and the path, the science that the Vedas are teaching, the science of God realization, is an eternal science. It is non-sectarian. That is why they call it Sanatan Dharma, the eternal path. Actually, all religions are eternal because they are talking about the eternal God and the eternal soul. But they are giving limited knowledge, like the pocket dictionary and the complete unabridged Oxford dictionary. The entire spectrum of knowledge, from ABCD of spiritual knowledge till where it goes, it is all there in the Vedas. Those Vedas then are the authority. Bhutam bhavyam bhavishyancha sarvan vedat prasiddhyati. Any spiritual principle must be validated on the authority of the Vedas. That Vedic knowledge was elaborated in the 2 Itihas, the Ramayana and Mahabharata, including the Bhagavad Gita. 18 Puranas like the Bhagavad Puran, the Shad Darshan like Mimamsa, Vedan, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Sankhya, Yoga, the 100 Smriti texts, the thousands of Nibans, these are elaborating the Vedic knowledge, hence they are called Vedic literature. So let's find out from the Vedas about God. Let us first go to the Samaved, the Ken Upanishad of the Samaved. The Ken Upanishad says, Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasaha avigyatam vijanatam vigyatam avijanatam. You have come to know about God? Yes, I am seeking knowledge of God. In that case, first know this. That person who thinks I can know God has no knowledge of God. That person who thinks nobody can know God, he truly knows God. The Vrihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Sa esha neti netyatma grahyaha. He is incomprehensible to you. Naisha tarkena matirapaneya. The Kathopanishad says, God is beyond your logic and argumentation. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, your intellect cannot grasp God. The Brahma Vaivartak Puran states, Asthulo nanurupo sava vishvo vishva evacha viruddha dharma rupo sava ishvaryat purushottamaha. That Supreme Lord possesses innumerable contradictory attributes at the same time. You ask somebody, where are you? Swamiji, I am sitting in the prayer hall of the Radha Krishna temple. All right. Where are you? I am sitting at my home. Where are you? I am in my office. Now, if somebody says, I am in the temple, and also at home, and also in the office, there will be a contradiction here. Such contradictions are not possible in the material realm. However, God is the repository of innumerable contradictory attributes. Let's go to the Kathopanishad. It states, Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan atma guhayan nihitosya janto tamakratum pashyati vita shokaha. The Kathopanishad is explaining the size of God. How big is God? So the mantra says, Mahato Mahiyan. God is bigger than the biggest. The biggest thing that you can think of. Think of something big. Mountain, the Rockies, bigger. The earth itself, even bigger. Solar system, even bigger. Milky Way, even bigger. The universe. God is bigger than that universe. Because the whole universe is residing within Him. If He were not bigger than the biggest thing, how would He uphold the biggest thing? That is why the Vedas say, Mahato Mahiyan. In fact, another word for God in Sanskrit is Brahma. And what does Brahma mean? Vrihatvat Brahma. That which is exceptionally big. However, the same Ved mantra also says, Anoraniyan, God is small. But just now you were saying He is big. No, but He is also small. How small is God? He is so small that He is smaller than the smallest thing you can ever think of. Now think of something small. The molecule, smaller, atoms, even smaller, electrons, protons, positrons, Higgs bosons, the God particle. So, the smallest thing you can think of, the God particle, God is smaller than the God particle. Because He is pervading everything. He is the source of the energy in the God particle. If He were not smaller than the Higgs boson, how would He sit inside it? That is why the second part is also right. He is smaller than the smallest. Now you have a contradiction out here. Yasmat param na paramasti kinchit, yasman naniyo najjayosti kaschit. Vrihatcha tad divyam achintya rupam, sukshmacha tad sukshmataram vibhati. All these Upanishadic mantras are saying that God is both big and small. But the matter doesn't end here, rather it thickens, the plot thickens. How is that? Again the Vedas say, Neti netya sthula mananu. Na iti, na iti. God is big, not that. God is small, not that. He is neither. How come? He descends in His 6-foot form as Sri Ram and Sri Krishna, which is neither big nor small. You will say, Swamiji, I can't understand all this. That's exactly what the Vedas are saying, that you cannot understand God. You cannot describe Him with your words. Where does He reside? In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna gives his address. If anybody wishes to note and write a letter to him, he says, Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam riddesher junatisthati. Arjun, I am seated in the heart of all living beings. In other words, that is the residence of the Lord within us. However, Sri Krishna tells Arjun, I have a second address as well. Na tadbhasayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Arjun, Sri Krishna says, where this sun and this moonlight cannot reach, which is beyond the realm of Maya, and where having once gone, a person does not return. O Arjun, that divine eternal abode of mine, which somebody calls Golok, somebody refers to as Saket Lok, somebody refers to as Vaikunt Lok, that is my residence. Arjun says, Maharaj, you were saying you are in everybody's heart. That's also right, Arjun. And now you say you are in Golok. That's also right, Arjun. And I'm also in front of you. Third place. But Arjun, I have a fourth place as well. Oh my God, four residences. What is this fourth place? Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavasthitaha. O Arjun, I pervade this entire creation. There is no place where I do not exist. Eko devaha sarvabhuteshu gudaha sarvavyapi sarvabhutantaratma karmadhyaksha sarvalokadhivasaha sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. This one mantra has come in the Shvetashvatar Upanishad, the Kathopanishad and the Mundokupanishad. That Supreme Lord is all pervading in the world. Now how will you describe such a Lord? Is he close to us or is he far from us? The Vedas say, Asino dure brajati shayano yati sarvatah. He is so far. You keep running towards him all your life. You will neither see his hands nor his feet. And yet he is so close. There is not a hair's breadth of difference between him and you. He is sitting inside. Does God possess senses like we do? Does he have eyes and ears? The Vedas say, Sarvendriya gunabhasam sarvendriya vivarjitam sarvasya prabhumishanam sarvasya sharanam suhrit. God doesn't have any senses. He is not like us. He is not limited by these five senses and the mind. But if he doesn't have senses, then how does he see? If he doesn't have ears, then how does he hear? Well, Swamiji, God is only light. This form is human creation. But tell me, then how is he seeing, hearing, tasting? We know that wherever any soul prays to God, God is able to hear. How does he manage to do that? So the Vedas again give a contradictory answer. They say, Sahasra Shirekhas, Sahasrakshah, Sahasrapata, Sabhumigvam, Sarvatas Pritva, Tyatishthad Dashangulam. Everywhere are God's ears. Everywhere are God's eyes. Whatever you do, he will see. Whatever you say, he will hear. Nothing is unknown to him. Everywhere are his hands and his feet. You will say, I can't understand such a God. That is exactly what I am telling you. You can't understand a God who is so contradictory. Vajradapi kathorani, mriduni kusumani. Again the Vedas say, God is as hard as a thunderbolt. When Mahapralaya takes place, all the souls are crying, but he just hardens himself. You are crying, you are dying, never mind, I don't care. He is that hard. And at the same time, mriduni kusumani, his heart is softer than a flower. Wherever any soul sincerely prays to him with a selfless devotion, God melts and reaches there to grace him. So he is hard, he is also soft. Hence, Upanishad says that pravachane na labhyo. Through lectures, through dissertations, you can neither explain God nor can anybody understand God. Na medhaya, nor can you understand God through the width of your intellect. Is it that we have never seen God? Sometimes we think, these Swamis and Mahatmas, they keep talking about God. Who has ever seen God? Has anyone seen him at all? But the fact is, all of us have seen God. Really? When? In our past lives. This is not our first life. We have come on this planet innumerable times. When Lord Krishna was here 5,000 years ago and lived on this planet for 125 years, it's possible we were right here. It's possible we saw him. When Lord Ram was here for 11,000 years, it is possible that in our past life we were there in Ayodhya or Dandakaranya or Kishkindha. So it's quite likely we saw him. And these avatars, Ram avatar, Krishna avatar, have taken place innumerable times. And we have had innumerable past births. So the probability is that in some past life or the other, we actually saw God. However, we were not able to benefit because his form was divine and our eyes were material. So the Vedas say, by none of these schemes and none of these gimmicks can you ever reach God.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Satya Sai Hare, Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka, Bhakta Jana Samrakshaka, Bhakti Maheshwara. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Shashi Bhagana Shri Kala Sarva Pranapati, Swami Sarva Pranapati, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Ashrita Kalpaladika, Avarvandava. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Mata Pita Guru Devam Mariyantayu Nive, Swami Mariyantayu Nive, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nana Brahma Jagannatha, Nagendra Shayana. Om Jai Jagadish Hare, सद्गुरुदेवा शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः जय बोलो भगवान